Hey guys, we're going to be reviewing the film Angels in America today. This original play was actually written by Tony Kushner, and it debuted on Broadway in '92. This is basically the story of two couples, one gay, one straight. You have Lewis and Pryor, and Joe and Harper. These four people's stories also become intertwined in a very unique and metaphoric way. In this movie, you see a lot of things like ghosts and angels, and a lot of times when we see things like that, it can kind of throw us off. But the metaphoric element to this story made it very unique and very intricate, and forced the reader to process it and think out of the box. This was the first movie of its kind. You have different kinds of characters that add an intricate piece to the story. So even though it was very metaphoric, the thing that was very unique to me was the fact that there were actually real life people represented in this story. So from Ethel Rosenberg and Roy Cohn, who was actually the antagonist of the story and sort of the enemy of the gay community, who eventually ends up contracting AIDS himself, and it actually comes out later that he is actually gay. So there, it was an adequate representation of his self-hate that killed him, and not actually the AIDS disease. Um, with Lewis and Pryor, we see their relationship start to spiral out of control after Pryor contracts AIDS, and we see as Pryor's health starts to get worse, we see Lewis's ugly side, and we see his fears start to get worse. He eventually abandons his responsibility of being Pryor's support system and sticking by his side because it's it literally becomes too much for him to handle, and he ends up cheating on Pryor and eventually leaving him. Now with Joe and Harper, it was a weird situation because we later find out in the story that Joe is actually a closet homosexual, and it puts a very bad strain on his relationship with Harper. She is addicted to pills and facing a lot of emotional damage and frustration based off of everything that's left unsaid in their relationship. So eventually, those two relationships spiral out of control, but the writer did an amazing job at intertwining these stories, and each character's story tells an intricate piece to the overall plot. Overall, great read, and it was very creative, and I would definitely recommend the audience to check out the movie as well as the play.